This gorgeous car is the Mazda CX-9 Azami LE, which is the top of the line model for Mazda's largest SUV. The Azami LE is an all-wheel drive, but you can get a two-wheel drive version on the cheaper models. It competes with other large SUVs like the Toyota Kluger and Hyundai Palisade. It looks good, but is it style over performance? I've had this for the last week with my family of 3 to find out. This video will be split into chapters, and here are the time codes. If there's something you like, you can skip ahead or use the markers on the YouTube timeline. My written review is at the CarsGuide website, but if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to stay on top of our latest videos. This is the top model, and you can pick it up for around $74,000 before on-road costs. But boy, do you get some bang for your buck here. It puts the price tags of other top-spec SUVs to shame. Just some of those features are the digital instrument panel, heated and ventilated front and second row seats, as well as a heated steering wheel and sunroof. Features of the Azami LE are the captain row seats, as well as a dedicated middle console. I love the way this car looks. The 20-inch alloy wheels and chrome accents, and just the lovely shape at the front and the rear makes for a good looking car. It looks refined and polished, and that's carried through to the interior as well. It is super attractive in here, and the layout with the buttons, it sort of reminds me of a BMW. The multicolored mixed use of materials with the chrome, the leather look, and the actual wood finish makes this feel really luxurious inside. I really like how the design's been executed in here. See how the curve of the door panel comes into the vent here, as well as this window control panel just tucks in next to the dash. Couple that with the black headliner, sunroof, and these beautiful Napa leather seats. It feels like a cockpit in here. I mean, I'm being cuddled by the car, but there's plenty of space. The seats are a delight. They have a heated and ventilated function and make for a very comfortable ride. The storage up front is adequate. You have 2 cup holders up front, as well as a bottle holder in each of the doors. The middle console isn't massive, but you do have 2 USB ports in here. Up front, you have a wireless charging pad for your smartphone, as well as a spot to put your keys. However, I would have liked to have seen a USB port up here instead of having to trail my cable all the way to the front or use the 12-volt point from down here. My only gripe with the car is the 10.25-inch screen. It's not a touchscreen, and it's not super intuitive to use either. The control wheel here, where you think you're going to be using a dab motion, actually is a scrolling motion, but on the next app, it's the opposite, which I found to be a little bit annoying to use. I did find sometimes that the sound cut in and out on my phone calls and the digital radio. I'm not quite sure why, but I found that the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto was really welcome here and earned some marks. The luxury of the front is carried to the back here. The Azami LE is the 6-seater version, but other variants can come with 7 seats. This row has captain seats with a permanent middle console. The layout here is pretty special. My 5-year-old liked it so much that he was desperate to sit in these seats without his car seat. So much so that he tried to unclip his car seat while we were moving, which wasn't fun. Now, this 2-seat layout does compromise on practicality, and you might find that you missed that 3rd seat. What I really liked too in the back seat, and which my 5-year-old really liked, were these retractable sunshades, which are always handy when you have little ones in the back. Now, these seats are really comfortable. They're powered, they have heating and cooling as well, which is amazing. And it's just, I feel like I'm in my own little bubble here. I'm not going to be, elbowing my siblings in the back. Now you have 2 cup holders here, as well as a bottle holder in each door. And this middle console is huge. You can put your whole arm in here. You also have 2 USB ports here, and there's a very sneaky little compartment down here. You have climate control back here, as well as map pockets and reading lights. There are 2 ISOFIX points in here as well as 2 top tethers. With the middle console being in the permanent position, I did find it tricky to fit my car seat in with the seatbelt because I couldn't really access this point, but with the ISOFIX, really easy. However, the top tether positions are all the way at the base of the seat. I had to let out the strap of my top tether pretty much all the way to be able to fit it. These seats also have a one-touch button that slides them forward and backwards, and if you have the time to wait, it's a really great feature. It took me a full minute for it to go forward and backwards. It's pretty special back here, and I reckon that this would be the ultimate road trip car for adults and kids alike. I do feel though, if you have a third child, that this wouldn't be the best layout because I wouldn't want to be climbing into the back to fit a kid. Well, the third row is pretty typical, not well suited to adults. I will give it this, these seats are heavily padded and more comfortable than the typical third row. You have 2 top tethers back here, and I can attest you can fit 2 car seats side by side. There's a cup holder and a USB port, as well as some sort of tray, snack tray, storage tray on each wheel arch. Sadly, no air vents back here, so I wouldn't want to be back here on a 30-degree day. This has a remote operated and hands-free power tailgate, which is great when you have your hands full because you can use the kick option to open the boot. With the third row up, you get 230 litres of cargo space. But with the third row down, that jumps up to 810 litres, which is perfect for large prams or shopping or luggage alike. You have a space saver spare wheel underneath this panel here, but it is a little bit fiddly to get out. You have a 12-volt point in the back, as well as these little hooks that you can hang your shopping on. The third row is not powered and does require a manual adjustment to put down. This has a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine, and it's up to the task of moving this big body around. There is a tiny bit of wobble in the steering at high winds, but not enough to detract from the enjoyment. It's a pretty smooth ride, but on older country roads you can sometimes feel some of those bumps. But I guess that lends itself to the sporting experience. It's also a really quiet cabin, which is nice. And it gets up big hills quite easily. That was quite steep. The steering wheel feels great underneath my hands, and the head-up display was handy. I like that the speed sign recognition and the blind spot warning shows on the head-up display too. At over 5 meters in length, this was an unusual experience to park. I didn't know where it started or ended, and if I didn't have the 360-degree camera or rear and front parking sensors, I would have been in trouble. The official combined figure for fuel efficiency is 9 litres per 100 Ks, but the lowest I saw was 11.4 litres per 100 Ks, and that was on a mixture of city and highway driving. The Azami LE has all the important safety features and technology, including curtain airbags that protect those in the third row. About the only thing it doesn't have is a center airbag up front, which is starting to appear on newer models. The CX-9 has a 5-star NCAP safety rating, but it was based on criteria of 2016. The CX-9 comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is standard for the class. There is a cap price servicing plan, and it averages out at about $397 per service over 5 years. The service intervals are at 10,000 Ks or 12 months, which could be annoying if you put some heavy Ks on your car every year. The Azami LE is a thoroughbred to be sure. It was a pleasure to be in, everyone had plenty of space, and it just looks good. This gets a 9 out of 10 from me, and my son thought it was the bee's knees. He gave it a 10 out of 10. You might also want to check out the comparison test that Richard Berry did on the CX-9 and the Kluger. If you're after more details, the full review will be at the CarsGuide site. Don't forget to hit subscribe to stay on top of our latest videos. See you next week.